Oh, well, no one else is going to listen to that, so we're okay, right?
We get a few hits, but it's okay because I screamed over top of it quite loudly.
Okay, good.
Yeah. Hey guys, and welcome to episode 226 of the Gaming Death Podcast. I'm your host Chris, and with me tonight we have Evil Kyle.
Bye, guys.
Hi, Evil Kyle.
Bye, Chris.
Bye. Why are you saying bye? Don't say bye. Say hi.
This is evil. It's just how I greet someone.
Oh, so evil is like opposite.
Yeah,
Do you have like a creepy goatee too, like Evil Spock?
yeah, I do actually. I'm not actually evil. I just call myself evil because I'm opposite Caleb, and since Caleb isn't evil, I have to be evil.
What's
very
going on, buddy? How are you, sir?
I'm doing okay. Doing okay. Just kind of waiting anxiously for Assassin's Creed and playing other games while I wait.
I'm
How about
playing
you,
lots
man?
of other games.
There's lots of other games coming out now.
I've been playing lots of other games.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How many games have you been playing?
Like two. But I beat
So many other games.
from last week. I'm playing two brand new releases. One I completed in 3 days,
Yeah, you did.
and the other one I'm pretty sure I'm going to beat it tonight.
Really?
Yes.
Okay.
Oh my God, John's back. Hey, John.
Oh, what's up, John?
He hasn't been in the chat in like 2 or 3 weeks, so welcome back, John. Yeah, the other one I'm pretty sure I'm going to beat either tonight or tomorrow. It'll be finished by the end of the week.
Wow, you're crashing through it. Nuts.
Well,
Nuts.
it's that time of the year, and I'm sick of like buying games and not beating them. Excuse me. Like this year I before like all the games started coming out and stuff, I'd started a list of games that I've beaten so far in 2017, and every time I beat a new game it gets added onto the list.
Nice.
So, just quickly, I just want to run through this really quick. I've beaten Titanfall 2, Darksiders 1 and 2, the HD versions, Game of Thrones Season 1, Walking Dead Seasons 1 through 3, Friday the 13th, Binding of Isaac, Neo, Injustice 2, Pyre, Watch Dogs 2. I finally finished Cuphead, Resident Evil 7, No Man's Sky, Horizon Zero Dawn, South Park Stick of Truth HD, Kingdom Hearts 1 and 2, Dark Souls 2, Ever Oasis, Samus Returns, Destiny 2, and Evil Within 2.
Nice.
So I think I've had a pretty good year. Like games that I've bought, I've also beaten.
It sounds like it. Sounds like you're cutting through a lot of games pretty hard.
And now that when I get home from work, I don't want to do fuck all. All I want to do is like just chill out and play some games. And like the Evil Within, I got it last Friday, and I had it beaten. I beat it at 3:00 in the morning, Monday morning.
Wow.
So
Okay.
Sunday into Monday. 22 hours. I'm missing 6 trophies.
Nice.
One playthrough.
Okay.
So,
Damn.
that game's good. Can we talk about the Evil Within 2?
We can talk about whatever you want about. Go on, talk about Chris.
Well, I want to know if it's okay if you want to talk about Evil Within 2, Caleb.
Before we do that, let's finish up Cuphead real quick.
Okay.
Which it sounds like you finished.
I did finish Cuphead.
How is Cuphead?
Hard as balls.
Hard as balls.
Hard as balls.
I like it.
Hard, very hard. Probably difficulty that I don't want to play again for a while.
Fair enough. That sounds about right.
I really enjoyed it. I felt really accomplished every time I took down a boss. It's one of those games where I was like, fuck, I really like the final boss is just ridiculous.
Yeah.
And you're just kind of like, I don't want to play this because I'm not having fun at this point. But I have one boss left, and if I beat him, I beat this game.
Yeah.
So you're like, fuck it, I'll just do it. Yeah, John, you're right. Cup Souls is a better game.
Souls.
But that's the thing, like with Dark Souls, I can play Dark Souls and keep playing Dark Souls and get done with Dark Souls and just want to play more Dark Souls.
Yeah.
And Cuphead, it was just kind of, it was I don't know if it's because it's more repetitive than Dark Souls. Like Dark Souls, like there's there's different strategies and there's other things to do besides go fight this boss.
Well, there's like very few typical levels in Souls in Cuphead other than the bosses, right? It's just boss after boss after boss. Mostly.
Yeah, there's 4 platforming levels.
And I actually finally got a chance to see a little bit. 2 best friends, or super best friends, actually just put up an hour's worth of gameplay yesterday. And, like, you always hear about games being hard, but sometimes it's hard to visualize exactly how they're hard without seeing them being played. And holy shit, that game's ridiculous.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, it's hard. Very hard. And hell is it hard. It's just one of those games where it's like, if you've never played an old school game, you are going to have a very hard time with this game. It's very like, if you're good at Mega Man, you'll be good at Cuphead.
Okay, I can see that. Does it have a charge shot?
You can buy a charge shot.
Ooh, okay, that's good. I like that.
It's not great, but you can buy it.
It sounds like you can buy some very interesting upgrades.
Yeah, there's a bunch of really cool
strategy.
Weapons. Yeah.
Yeah.
But I just I really liked the game. If I had to rate it out of 10, which everybody likes to do, I'd probably give it like a 7 or an 8.
Okay.
It was a solid game, but not a game I want to go back to anytime soon.
Pretty good. Not amazing, but still pretty good.
Yeah, almost amazing. If they had given me like more in-depth like if they had made it more like Super Mario World with bosses at the end, or Shovel Knight where you played through a level and you got to a boss at the end rather than like a giant boss rush mode, I think I would have enjoyed it a little bit more.
Okay.
But it was just, I just couldn't. It was just, I could, but I don't want to touch it again. It gets very repetitive. Like the way that it runs is you go to a boss, you fight a boss the first time, and you never beat them. You learn their pattern, and then you finally get their first sequence pattern down, and you get to the second sequence. And sometimes you're lucky, and the second sequence isn't that bad. You can get to the third sequence, see what the third sequence is.
Yeah.
But usually it's you die like 6 times in the first sequence, you die like 3 times in the second sequence, and you die like twice in the third sequence before you learn the entire sequence of the boss battle. Like, it's one of those games where if you were really good at this game, you could close your eyes and beat the game if you memorized patterns.
Okay.
And it's just, that's how every boss is, though. There's no variety to the bosses. Like, sometimes you're in an airplane, and that's a little different. But usually it's like, it's all just, hey, shoot forward, or shoot down, or shoot behind you, or shoot up and kill the boss. And dodge what they're doing to you.
Okay. Over and over and over again.
Over and over and over again. 12 or 13 times.
Wow, okay.
So it's like, I was done. By the time I beat the game, I was done.
That sounds exhausting, honestly. Sounds fun.
That's the best word for it. That game is exhausting.
Just over and... It's like a Dark Souls that were just bosses would not nearly be as fun.
Yeah, imagine if you had if Dark Souls had a boss rush mode and you could only use your basic attack.
Yeah.
And there's still dodge rolling and there's still blocking, because there's dodge rolling and blocking in Cuphead. But it's just boss rush mode. So you kill a boss and you get a cool item that doesn't actually help you. It's just a cool item for story purposes. And then you move on to the next one. And you're like, hey, look, more stuff. And then every once in a while, you do a level where you kind of like walk through and kill like trash mobs to gain money so you can buy upgrades from the store. That is what Cuphead is.
Okay.
And I know that it sounds like I'm shitting on it a little bit. I'm just really exhausted from the game. I'm just fucking
It sounds
exhausted.
like it. Sounds like there's been a lot of Cupheads been had.
Like,
That's
I was
cool.
so happy to move on to The Evil Within 2 on Friday.
Alright, well, That's good. If anyone wants to check out Cuphead, just be ready for that. It sounds like it's a fun game, but it is a lot of that, and I can see why people would be tired of that. That's fair. It's a very particular type of game.
Mm-hmm.
But you've been playing all kinds of stuff in addition to Cuphead. What else is going on?
Evil Within 2, man.
Evil Within 2?
That game is magnifique. It's hard. It's survival horror. I see a lot of people online bitching that it has a lot of tropes. Thank you, Evil Within 2 and Bethesda for bringing back the survival horror tropes that we don't see anymore. So thank you. It makes it feel like a survival horror game. I love it.
That's fair. I see a lot of people giving it 7.5s, things like that.
Oh, this is a 9. This is a 9 without a doubt. It's a 9.
It's a 9.
It's
okay.
a 9.
It sounds like it is more of the first one, which is not a problem in my book. The first one had some issues. I did not have any problem with the issues in the first one that other people had. I thought it was great.
Then you will like the second one.
Okay. All right.
My biggest problem with the second one is it's way too easy.
Yeah, the first one was tough, even on the normal difficulty, I remember. You were always strapped for ammo.
You're strapped for ammo in this game, too, a lot.
Okay.
Like, especially towards the beginning of the game, and you're still trying to... Like, if after playing Resident Evil 7, where you have ammo coming out of your asshole, you move over to this game, and you're like, yeah, survival horror, and you try to play it where, like, you're killing everything, and you're trying to fight everything that in your path, and that's not how you play the Evil Within. And once you learn, like, oh, I need to be stealthy and take this shit out quietly and not alert those guys and just run past some of these monsters, it becomes you start stockpiling more ammo, and they always give you ammo for the boss battles, which is nice. You're never like running up to a boss and slashing it to death.
That's good. It's very good. But it does have very memorable bosses.
Yes, it does. Very memorable bosses.
So my biggest problem with the first one is something we've talked about before, but it was really just that towards the end of the game, it felt like you're just getting a ton of enemies thrown at you, which wasn't a big deal, but I felt like they could have done a little better with something creative. Does it feel like that in this one towards the end, without any spoilers? How's like the difficulty curve, and how does the gameplay kind of change in that way over the course of it?
There is a huge callback to the first game towards the end of this game. They throw a few enemies at you, but not like it's not like the first game where it's like here's 50 enemies and you have to kill them all. It's more like here's like a total while you're leading towards to almost the final boss. Here's like a total of 12 to 14 enemies, and you fight them in waves. So like there's a gate that's up, and you kill like 4 dudes, and you go to the next gate, and then you kill like 4 or 5 dudes. You go to the next gate, and you kill 4 or 5 dudes, and you go to the next gate. And they're all normal. They're not like beefy dudes. They're not bruisers or anything. They're just normal zombie guys. And then you fight. You fight a big mini sub boss before the final boss. Who's the biggest enemy that besides the final boss in this game? It's fucking huge. And it's intimidating to take it out. And you're running low on ammo, and it's fucking crazy. But the ending of the game's paced really well. The game itself, like, overall is paced much better than the first game.
Okay.
There's a few enemies that I was sad didn't make... Like, none of the iconic enemies make a return.
Oh, really? There were some great ones in the first one.
Yeah, none of them make a return. The story is really... If you like the story of the first game, you will love the story of the second game. The story's really good.
Okay.
The voice acting is terrible. It's Woody. It's Resident Evil 2 levels of voice acting quality.
Okay.
And it's amazing.
Okay.
Like,
I don't know what to think about that, but
this is not a spoiler, but there is a part at the very beginning of the game where you find out that your daughter is still alive. It's the whole reason you're going back into STEM. is your daughter still alive? And she is the core of STEM, and you have to go and you're trying to rescue her because somebody's captured her from inside. And your response to that is, I'm still trying to wrap my brain around going back into STEM. And it's just like, the fuck? You just found out your daughter, who you thought has been dead for like 3 years, is still alive. And it's just, it's stupid shit. Like, it's the best. And that actually bumped it up for me because we love Shovel Knight here on the Game and Death podcast.
We do.
Because it harkens back and it pulls on the member berries a little bit and improves upon it.
Pulls on the member berries I guess it's a good way to describe that. Yeah.
It pulls it's like, yo, hey guys, you remember these old games? Look, nostalgia, motherfuckers. And then it's like we took that 2D castle and we built upon it, and now look, you have a 3D Lego castle. And that's why we love Shovel Knight, because it took what old games did and it refined it. And Evil Within takes what Capcom was doing in the mid-90s with Resident Evil 2, Resident Evil 3, and what Konami was doing with Silent Hill 1, Silent Hill 2, and it takes all those tropes and all that weird shit that, we were seeing constantly in the mid to late 90s, and it just refines it and builds this beautiful, grotesque, disgusting, scary castle on top of it.
Okay.
And anybody who is a fan of survival horror needs to play this game. Like, it quickly jumped up to like one of my top 10 games this year.
Wow.
Like,
okay.
It's the gunplay's good. The story's good. There's like little mini open worlds. There's side missions to do, so you're not just like running and like trying to wrap your head around this convoluted story. And the side missions kind of reinforce what happened before all this bullshit went down. You get more bits and pieces of the story by doing these side missions, and it's perfect. It's not perfect. It's amazing. It's a 9. It is a 9 without a doubt.
9 without a doubt. Okay.
9 without a doubt. I wish it was longer.
How long is it?
It took me 22 hours.
That's pretty solid for a survival horror game, I'd say.
I know that, but because I was really enjoying it, I wish it was longer.
Okay. Fair enough.
That was my biggest thing. Is like I wish it was longer, and some of the areas look very very similar. And there's so much stuff I want to say about this game that I can't say without spoiling stuff. So I'm just going to shut up.
But it's really good.
It is really good. Everybody should play it.
For people who like survival horror. Okay.
Oh, it's scary. That's a big one. I got scared shitless. I couldn't play this. I was playing this game late at night, Friday night. My wife is sleeping next to me. I have my headphones in. I'm playing Evil Within 2. And I was, like, literally creeped out when I walked into the dark bathroom. That is a sign of a good game.
That's something I haven't felt from a game in a long time.
7 never made me feel that way. This game did.
Yes, 7 was tense, but it never was quite scary like that. I want to say maybe Aliens Isolation made me feel like that, but that's the last I can remember.
So, but that's Evil Within 2. I just got a game yesterday that I've been playing, another new one. I picked up South Park Fractured Butthole.
Yeah, you did.
12 hours into the game at this point. It's good. More South Park.
Is it more South Park? Because all I really wanted was more South Park.
It is more South Park. It is more. It's a lot of walking.
Okay. There was a lot of that in the first one too.
But I mean, like, there's a lot. Like, the world has 2 more streets to it, as well as all the areas from the last game.
Okay.
So it's a lot of walking, and the fast travel system. There's still the fast travel system. You use it a bunch, but your objectives are never close to the fast travel points. So you're walking, so like you'll fast travel from one end of the city to the other end of the city, but then you're still walking like 4 or 5 screens to get where you need to go. So it pisses, and like there's sometimes like there's a fast travel station at the school, and then 2 screens over there's a fast travel station at the lake, and it's like, why put this like in the middle where there's nothing? The combat's probably the best part of South Park Fractured But Whole, in all honesty.
Okay.
It is like it's grid based, but not like what you would it's not Final Fantasy Tactics grid based.
Okay.
There's small squares that you move back and forth on, and then you attack when you get someplace. I think I really like combat because it utilizes like pressing X at a right moment, kind of like Legend of Dragoon.
Okay.
So that's cool. The superhero motif is really cool. I like that you get to choose a power at the beginning, and then probably, I don't know how long into the game, but by the end of the first night, you get to supplement your power with a secondary power.
So I just have one very serious question regarding all of this before we continue. Is South Park the Fractured But Whole? Is it the Marvel game we've been wanting?
No.
Or is it too much South Park to be the Marvel game we've been wanting?
It is too much South Park to be the Marvel game that you want.
Okay. I was half joking, but I wanted to ask just because it sounds like it's pretty interesting and some of the superhero stuff it does.
Like, if there was a Marvel game that was set like a superhero game that played like this did, but without all the South Park in it, it would be the superhero game that we wanted. But, like, again, you're trying to get followers. But now you're trying to get followers on Kunstagram.
Kunstagram. That's pretty funny, actually.
So the way you get followers is you walk up to them, and if you can add them to your followers, you press R1 to take a selfie with them, and that's how you add them to your Kunstagram.
Okay.
You also, there's like member berries you can find, like shit tons of collectibles. Member berries, Big Gay Al's cats, hanging up posters for the pedophile detective. It's really, really, really racist cop. Like you go to you get a side mission. It's like, go to the police station. You go to the police station. They make you a deputy, and they're like, you gotta go take down this drug dealer. And you just walk into a black guy's house and like beat the shit out of him for no reason. They arrest them.
Oh, okay.
And they're like, yeah, you drug dealer, you're going down now. The mission I'm currently doing is the second part of that mission, where you go to Token's house because Token's mansion was bought with drug money.
Oh God!
And you got to go take down Token's dad. That is the mission that's currently paused on my TV.
Wow, that's South Park.
You go to a strip club. You go to a medical marijuana place. And you fight Tally, but he doesn't take damage, so you have to let him light you on fire and then light the 4 piles of pot that are around the store on fire so that he calms down.
Okay.
It's a neat game. It's neat. There's like, when you're in it and you're in the action, you're doing stuff, it's fun and it's enjoyable, but the action, it's paced really weird because the action is broken up by so much. I feel like I'm playing fucking Lord of the Rings. And not like the cool part of Lord of the Rings, like the part of Lord of the Rings that Tolkien refused to write about because they were just walking.
Oh. Well, that's not ideal.
Like, the parts where, like, if this was a Lord of the Rings, the parts where Tolkien actually wrote about it are the parts that are really, really enjoyable for the South Park Fractured But Whole. But the part that Tolkien cut out, where they're just like, oh, we walked for 7 days and did nothing, that Tolkien would cut out of Lord of the Rings, that's a lot of what South Park is. It's walking around, collecting stuff, and there's a crafting system that's not in depth, which I wish had a little bit more depth to it. It's an upgrade system. You can change out your powers. You still fart. You can control time with your farts.
You can control time with your farts.
Yep. I can rewind time right now, and I can pause time right now
With your farts.
with my farts.
That's inspired, I suppose.
Like the callbacks to the show are nice. Like because I watch South Park still. I've been watching it since it came out, and it's one of those things where like the callbacks to like the newer season, like Jimmy's referred to as a her because Jimmy came out as transgender. One of your missions is trying to get Tweak and Clyde back together.
Do you get to see the Yowie?
That's one of the other collectibles.
That's good.
Clyde's Clyde? No, not Clyde.
Tweak?
No. Is it? Yeah, it's Clyde. Clyde's dad collects them, and there's 20 pieces around, and I found 18 of them so far.
Nice. So you've been walking a lot.
I walk a lot. A whole lot. I have barely run into Professor Chaos, which makes me sad. I still don't like the whole point of the game when it starts off, kind of like the Stick of Truth, is in this game there's cats missing from the town. You're trying to find out what's going on with the cats, and the first part of the game ends with you taking down the Italian mafia accidentally, trying to find these cats.
Accidentally.
Yeah,
Trying
you
to
accidentally
find the
take
cats.
down the Italian mafia, which is fucking hilarious, and it's good, and I'm just so sick of fucking walking.
Well, that's fun. At least for people who like the first one, which I did. I loved the first one. I picked it up on the cheap like a year or so, I want to say, after it came out, and was kind of mad with myself for not playing it earlier. But I mean,
This is going to be another one of those games where you're going to be mad at yourself for not playing it earlier, because this is also another game that's
Okay.
right up your alley.
okay. I might have to look into it. I was tempted to pick it up, but I didn't end up going for it. I'm still holding out a little bit of money until until Assassin's Creed next week.
Like, that's the thing, is I was like, my plan was that I was going to have Evil Within beaten like about Tuesday. I thought it was going to take me a little bit longer to beat it. And then I'd have South Park that would get me through till next Friday, because next Friday is Assassin's Creed.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, this will be fine. I'll have, stuff to play. And I'm just blowing through these games at this point that I'm like, what the fuck am I gonna play next week? Like, I'm gonna have South Park beat by this weekend. By the time this weekend's over.
Okay.
What am I doing after that?
I don't know.
Like, I don't want to... Like, this was my thing, was I contemplated picking up Shadow of War.
Okay.
But I kind of don't want to play Shadow of War with Assassin's Creed right around the corner, because they're very similar.
Yeah, it's a lot of open world running around.
So it's like Evil Within survival horror, South Park's an RPG. So, play Assassin's Creed will be my open world action game. So I'm kind of stuck. Like, what do I play next week? I'll do my weeklies in Destiny, which I haven't done this week. I really haven't touched Destiny since last week.
Really?
Yeah. I signed in, I went to Zur, and that was about it.
Okay.
That was the extent of my Destiny playing since last Friday. So, I still have to sign into... We have to figure out when we're doing our weeklies.
Yeah, I still haven't done anything for this week. I don't even know if I'm trying to remember if I even played over the weekend. I don't think I did. Destiny's still fun.
Destiny's a great game. Do you have any news you want to get to, or do you want to pull up emails? Because I have a shit ton of emails.
Well, there are some things happening here and there I can touch on really quick. I don't know if we got a release date before, but we do have one now for the Horizon Zero Dawn expansion, which is coming out November 7th.
Are you fucking kidding me?
I know, it's here. It's happening, right?
Yeah.
In the middle of everything else.
Yeah.
Speaking of superheroes, The Punisher season 1 is dropping on the same day Justice League comes out in theaters. Because Marvel has to do that, you know.
Okay. I saw the second trailer. The second trailer was very good.
Okay, I still have not seen it. I might watch Punisher. I'm still debating. I'm not the biggest fan of some Marvel shows. Evil Within came out. It's obviously getting some mixed reviews, but it sounds like it's really good if you like survival horror. South Park just came out. I'm sure people are playing that. Shadow of War came out last week. Not a ton other than that. Just little things here and there with a lot of multiplayer games. ARMS getting updated. Junkrat coming to Heroes of Storm. Yada yada yada.
Visceral
New people.
Games shutting down.
Visceral Games getting shut down, which is it's a decent sized one. That's pretty depressing.
EA saying that they're no longer doing single player games. That all of their games will be games as services.
Yep, and pretty much, yeah. So their Star Wars game is just getting moved out of Visceral and elsewhere. Amy Hennig is still guiding it, I guess, but it's
we don't know. There's no
Oh.
concrete information on Amy Hennig at this point.
That's stupid. Thanks, EA. So we're probably never going to get Dead Space 1 through 3 HD, and we're never going to get number 4.
Well, EA doesn't do HD.
That's true. They don't do that anyway. But now we're definitely not going to get it.
But we're never gonna get another Mass Effect game, probably.
I wondered about that. If we do, it won't be for a long time.
And we're not gonna get no more Dead Space.
We're not gonna get Dead Space.
No more Dead Space.
Poor Dead Space.
I love that game.
Dead Space is great. It just never
series.
got the love it deserved, I think.
So,
which is, you know, why the third one was the way it was, and that's all she wrote. Man, so much love went into those games too. That's super depressing. This is where we are.
So with all this news, and did you hear about Activision's patent that they have on how to? And it's an algorithm to encourage people to buy premium services.
No.
You didn't hear about this patent?
No, they have a patent on it?
They have a patent. And basically what it is, it's a matchmaking algorithm that will take people that only are free to play and match them against people that have paid for weapons or upgrades and stuff and match them together to encourage the free to play people to buy the weapons that the paid for accounts are using.
That's super fucked.
Fucked up.
That's super fucked. Wow. It's as clever as it is evil.
So everybody's talking about the death of single-player games. That's the big thing that's been going on that I keep...
I saw a lot of people talking about that, and I didn't know it had anything to do with that Activision thing. I just heard
the Activision
people...
thing and the Visceral Games thing, and it's like... Everybody's like, oh, you could just go to indies. And I'm like, you guys are stupid. Like, Bethesda does single-player only. Ubisoft does a lot of single-player experiences.
Yeah.
They're not going to stop. Nintendo does. Sony does. Like,
there's still plenty of money to be found in single-player experiences. Not quite as many as multiplayer, but it's still going strong.
Like, that's the thing is... You get those people that wanna that don't play like I hate competitive multiplayer.
They are not necessarily a market that interacts with each other necessarily. I don't really play multiplayer either, except for like Destiny, but that's its own thing.
Like I'd prefer to play I'd prefer to play cooperative multiplayer over competitive multiplayer every day of the week.
Yeah.
Like I don't want to fight against some 12-year-old kid unless I'm playing Call of Duty. Call of Duty is the only competitive multiplayer that I really enjoy. And I haven't even done that in like 2 years. Like really enjoyed that for 2 years. So it's just one of those things where people are talking about it and people are like, oh, here comes the video game crash. And, you know, it's gamers, the sky is falling, girls are bad.
Girls are bad.
Well, yeah. Do we forget Gamergate that quickly?
I did because I didn't pay much attention, but apparently it's still very much a thing, which is weird. We're in such a divisive world that even our hobbies have to be divisive.
It's stupid.
That's cool, I guess. Not really.
It's not cool. Shut up.
No, it's not. I'm being sarcastic. That's my point.
Like my favorite fucking thing, by the way, right now is Bethesda and Wolfenstein's fucking marketing. By the way,
I haven't seen the marketing, but I've heard some interesting things about some of their trailers. I think a new one just dropped this week.
Yeah, where they punch a Nazi in the face.
Good, and people got mad because
and people got mad and said that it's politically motivated, and I'm like, you guys are fucking so dumb. And I got to see, I saw somebody posted on Facebook. It was like 1984 fighting Nazis. Yeah, okay, that's cool. Sounds about right. And it went through like every time a Wolfenstein game came out, and everybody's like, yeah, okay, that's cool. Yeah, okay, that's cool. And it gets to 2017. It's like, you're gonna kill Nazis. And the response underneath it is, why do you have to make everything so political? And it's like,
Nazis are
Nazis are bad.
Oldest villain in the book. Like it's so easy.
It's not that hard. Nazis, like actual Nazis, swastika, little mustache, ovens, showers. They're bad.
They're pretty bad.
They're bad, and that's what you're fighting in the Wolfenstein. You're also fighting the Klans member. There, I saw a screenshot of a.
Are you? That's good. That sounds fun.
Of the main character blowing a guy in a Klansman outfit's head off with a shotgun, and I was like, "Oh, see, that's cool. That's okay. That's okay."
Is Wolfenstein 2 coming out for Switch or just PS4 and Xbox One and PC?
Everything.
Okay, because I wasn't sure I wanted to double dip for Wolfenstein on Switch for the first one, but I could maybe swing the second one. I could play some mobile Wolfenstein too. I could get down with that.
So, it's just one of my things where it's like, guys, they're honestly not talking. Like, you are drawing parallels, and they're probably drawing parallels because they know that people will talk about it. Because they're like, wait, we posted this thing about punching Nazis, and everybody fucking got mad, and everybody was talking about it. Since when did punching Nazis become controversial? And so now they're probably drawing parallels to it. But guys, actual Nazis are bad. Like
actual Nazis are pretty bad.
Little mustache swastikas, and the first part of a dab. Where you don't put your head down.
The first part of a dab, half a dab.
Yeah, you know the guys that do the half the dab.
Yeah,
those are the bad guys, and not the half dab where you're sneezing. I'm talking about like the half a dab where it looks like they're about to surf, but they refuse to do anything with their right arm.
Dabbing isn't cool, kids, but you definitely never go half dab.
Never go half dab, and the only time dabbing is cool is when you're sneezing.
Is it? I guess that makes sense.
Well, yeah, especially with little kids, because dabbing is cool, like really cool to little kids. If you're like, yo, guys, cover your mouth, every time you sneeze, you got to dab, they're going to start sneezing into their elbows.
Yeah.
So true. It's a cool little thing. All right, let's get to some emails and stop talking about Nazis.
Stop talking about Nazis.
Stop talking about Nazis and Cheeto Men.
Let me check real quick just to see if there's anything else we can talk about really quick.
Cheeto Men 2.
PlayStation Network's Halloween sale is now going on. The first week has some pretty solid deals. Resident Evil 7 is $30, which I thought about picking up. Just to play Not a Hero, honestly. And to play the game too. But
why would you? Okay, here's my thing. Why would you pick that up for $30 when in like 2 months you can buy like the entire collection for $30?
The entire collection is going to be like $50.
I think it's $39.99. So
really?
It gives you the paid DLC plus the game.
See, I don't really care much about the paid DLC other than the story ones, though. Like Not a Hero. Like, the paid DLC looks cool. Don't get me wrong. Like I've seen videos of people playing it. And it's interesting. It's just not necessarily my thing. I don't know if I would really care enough to play it.
Okay. That's fair then.
Which is why I'm kind of like, I don't know. I might just pick it up. But there's a lot of other cool stuff on there too. I thought about getting Outlast 2 for us to play, actually. Because the first one I think was actually surprisingly good in my mind. And Yeah, the one where you're in the insane asylum and you're the journalist.
The first-person shitty torture porn, not survival horror game. Yeah, that one.
Eh, it's not. It is. It is not a survival horror game. I will agree with that. But I still think it was a pretty decent game in the end.
It's mixed with monsters.
That's true. Well, I don't know. I liked it better than Amnesia, but
Which is also mixed with monsters.
which is also mixed with monsters that you can confuse by throwing carpets at their
Yeah,
head.
exactly.
It's great.
It's mixed
It's
with
great.
monsters.
Best.
If you want to play a good game, by the way, guys, if you want to play a good game that Outlast and Machine for Pigs and Amnesia is totally ripped off, play OG Clock Tower. That is where that formula originated. And those are survival horror games.
Yeah, yeah.
Play OG Clock Tower. OG Clock Tower is the best.
Banner
Never
Saga.
get away from Scissor Man.
Never get away from Scissor Man. Banner Saga 3 just got announced, by the way.
Who cares?
For people who like the first two, I've heard they're really good. The Not a Hero DLC got a new trailer and some info, and it actually sounds pretty interesting. So we'll see. The Gearbox is
want
hiring
this.
a lead writer for Borderlands 3, which raises questions about how far that long that game is. But
Are they hiring a writer for Borderlands 3 or for the DLC? Let's be honest.
I feel like they would probably have the same team do both. Or if they had to hire different people, they would hire not as important people. And it sounds like they're trying to hire a good writer. But who knows? Who knows? I guess it's possible.
That is so sex. I'm sorry, I just saw the Sunset Orange PS4 controller.
I have not seen that. Have you played the side-scrolling Jack Frost game? That's a Shin Megami Tensei. What's it called? Spinoff that Atlas released for free.
No, I did not.
It's supposed to be pretty good. You should go do that. Other than that, not a ton going on. I saw Blade Runner.
Oh, how was
Interesting.
Blade Runner?
Blade Runner is really good. It is not a standard sci-fi movie, and by that I mean it is not action-heavy. It is a long, slow noir thriller. It is a mystery. So I can see why it might not be doing great, especially because I don't know if Blade Runner is really as famous as the creators of the second one thought the first one was. It's a great cult film. I don't know if most people have actually seen the first one, other than sci-fi fans. But
That was my thing when I heard about a sequel. I'm like me and my friends really like this movie, but if I talk to my mom or my sister, even Dawn's never seen Blade Runner.
Really? Okay, yeah. Blade Runner 2 I thought was surprisingly good. I thought it did a really good job. I thought it was surprisingly... I felt like it tapped into Philip K. Dick pretty well as far as the story and how fucked up it gets, but it is a very interesting world. It's basically more of the world, which is great. It's worth seeing if you really like your sci-fi, and I would recommend that people go see it and help it make more money than it is.
I heard it's slow.
It is. It's 3 hours long.
Yeah, I was go see that in the theater. Sorry.
I was entertained and interested the whole time because I thought it was a really good mystery. Like, it's a noir film, but it's not a Marvel film. It's not action heavy. There's not a lot of things happening with lots of fighting and everything. It's a lot of slow mystery unfolding and conversations. But it's a super interesting world, and it has amazing imagery.
See, I want to see it because I love the first Blade Runner, which is a sci-fi noir film.
Yeah, it nails the imagery like it's crazy.
And
it's so good looking.
I'm really into noir films. Like, I don't know if you've ever seen Shutter Island, but
yeah,
fucking love Shutter Island. That's a very psychological thriller / noir film where not a lot happens. It's a lot of character development and talking. Like, I've always said that Kevin Smith is my favorite director because he does what I love to see in a movie, and that's two people sit down in front of a camera and talk. So
that is a lot of that's a lot of Blade Runner, and sometimes it's a lot of very tense conversations and a lot of very emotional conversations, but it's a lot of conversations.
So, alrighty, you want to do emails?
Yeah, let's get into some emails.
Oh, something is playing in my speakers right now.
Oh
It
no!
is a PSVR. Sorry, guys, that's a PSVR ad that decided to just start playing.
Huh.
All right, this one: video game animal you would not want as a pet, and one that you would.
That I wouldn't want as a pet?
Yep, a video game animal you would, and a video game animal you wouldn't.
Wouldn't, I'm going to say Daxter. I would not want Daxter as my pet.
Okay.
He seems like a bad pet. Just saying, man. Would. Well, why don't you go for wouldn't first, Chris? What would you not have as a pet?
Zombie dog from Resident Evil.
That'd make a pretty fucked up pet. That would not be very good.
Zombie
Very
dog from
hard.
Resident Evil.
Very hard. I might even say impossible to train.
Zombie shark from Resident Evil.
Zombie shark.
Zombie alligator Resident Evil.
I really wouldn't want Zelda from Wind Waker as my pet. I just don't. I don't care, guys. I don't think she would make a very good pet.
I'm giving you actual animals. Oh, zombie elephant from Resident Evil.
Oh my god.
Definitely don't want zombie elephant from Resident Evil.
I would not want the creature from The Last Guardian, semi-serious. That thing's way too fucking big.
It's dumb, too.
It's too much.
Oh. Are you in the bathroom?
No, I just got up to close the door of the bedroom. Would... I want to say... Oh, we were talking about porgs last week, and that's what I was thinking of. But a porg is not a video game character. It's a Star Wars
I've got my
character.
wood. I've got my wood, without a doubt.
What's your wood?
Prinny from Disgaea.
Is that the little bird that says dude with two O's?
Is it the penguin with demon wings and a pouch on the front of it? Yes,
Yeah.
it is. I have 4 stuffed Prinnies in my house.
Wow.
I fucking love Prinnies.
You know what I would want? I would want a Troupple from Shovel Knight. That's what I want.
That's cool. Can I just say
I want a big tank for my
Bayonetta from
Troupple.
Bayonetta? I'd love to have Bayonetta as a pet.
Oh my god. Yeah, I would love to have naked Lulu from Final Fantasy X as a pet.
As a pet.
As a pet. That's fucked up. Waka wouldn't make a very good pet though. He's too Jamaican.
A cactar would not make a very good pet because you couldn't hug it.
No, you try to hug it, it would send 10,000 needles in your face.
A Tonberry probably wouldn't be a good pet either.
Not a Tonberry. They look cuddly until you get too close, and then you know.
And then they shank you, like you're in a prison, shower.
Yeah, they do with a little cutting knife, little carving knife.
What game do you play when you feel like you need to be settled or centered? Game that is fun but calming.
Right now, it's a lot of... Destiny actually helps with that, too. Just because you run around and shoot things and do whatever. But for me, it's a lot of No Man's Sky right now. As far as calming, because it's super mellow. It's like Minecraft, you just gotta play it forever.
Yeah, my old school is Minecraft. Lately it's been The Sims 3 though. That's my centering game.
Sims 3?
Yep.
Is the 4th one out?
Yeah, but it's $40 and I own all but like 3 of the expansions for The Sims 3. So
The Sims is notorious for having like 10 expansions for each game, right?
Yep,
Is that
and
the
I
one?
owned almost all of them for the first 3 games.
Wow.
How do you find a balance between work, games, outside commitments, and family/friends? I combine a lot of them.
I do too. A lot of my friends, I usually stay home for most of the weekdays and occasionally part of the weekend, and leave weekends for going out. I'm kind of a homebody, but I like being with my games and my movies and my books and everything. But I still find time to get out on the weekends.
I have hardcore. I have high anxiety for anybody who has never listened to this podcast before. So for me to leave, it takes a lot for me to like go out and do stuff. So I spend a lot of time, like if I'm not home and playing games with Caleb or playing games laying next to my wife, I'm either at the comic book slash card store playing Magic with my friends or board games with my friends, which I haven't done lately because my anxiety's been too high, or I am going to see my mom up, who lives like 2 hours north of me in New York. So, like, I don't really balance. I kind of shell up and do what's comfortable for me.
That's cool.
What extracurricular activities did you do in high school and college?
In high school, I played football, I ran track, and I did mock trial my last year, which was interesting. College, I stopped giving a shit. I didn't do anything. I just took classes. I didn't want to do anything extra.
High school, I played soccer, and I played hockey. And I was on the chess club, and the AV club, and the philosophy club, and the physics club, and the chemistry club, and the creative writing club, and I was in drama.
Nice.
And we ran a board game club for my senior year of high school. So that was cool. That was high school. At college, I was in LGBTQA, which is the lesbian, gay, straight, bi, queer alliance. I was big in that, and I was in a psychology club where we would do shit to get our adrenaline pumping, like went skydiving with my psychology professor.
Nice.
You know, that kind of shit. So, yeah, I'm a fucking geek. What anime do you think could best be adapted into a video game?
What anime?
Yes.
I think Cowboy Bebop would work if it was a story separate from the anime story, but the same universe, and you had to hunt bounties.
Okay, I can see that.
I think that would work really well. I think that it was what they were originally trying with Prey 2 before they just kind of completely scrapped it and created the reboot that we know as of this year.
Mm-hmm.
But I think that would be really interesting.
Let's see. As long as it's not One Piece or Naruto or Bleach.
Oh, God.
All those, I used to love most of that stuff. I think like a Telltale Trigun game would be cool.
Yeah, I could see that. Like, yeah, Tales from the Borderlands was fantastic, and
that's what made me like the first time I played that. I was like, "Fuck, do I want to play Vash and fucking do this so bad?" Or like a really bloody action game, kind of like the old Soul Reaver games for Hellsing.
Okay, yeah, I could see that. That would be interesting.
I think that'd be really cool. Or Trinity Blade, or Trinity Blood. I think those would both be really cool.
You know what? I'm totally surprised. It was a really cool anime, and I'm surprised they never made it into a game.
What's that?
What was that? What was that thing that came out of? It was Castlevania. Castlevania, that anime from earlier this year.
Yeah, because Konami just does pachinko machines.
Yeah. They should like get out of pachinko, and they should make a game out of that, because that was sick. It's super sick. And like you could choose between the 3 different characters. It'd be rad.
It would be rad. Favorite song from a video game? Video game score. Excuse me. Video game score.
Favorite video game score.
Yes.
I'm
not going to go to any of my, like, I'm not going to say a Zelda song, I promise. Those are too easy and too right up front.
I might be a stupid dick and say Persona 5.
Okay.
It's so fucking good, especially for an RPG. It's like the most insane.
I still think Persona 4's music's better.
Persona 4 does have great music too. I just think it's so weird to have like a jazz swing R&B funk soundtrack for an RPG and to have that as like battle music. It's just such a strange concept to me even this many months past. I love it. And I still think about the songs every now and then because they're so catchy.
My favorite video game song that's not a Zelda song, my own stipulation. Otherwise, it's the Zelda main theme. The Zelda main theme is the Snake Eater theme. That shit.
Still in a dream.
Yeah, that is
Snake Eater.
When you're climbing up the tunnel and that music starts to play at the end of that game. Oh, chills. And then you fight the boss.
Gosh.
And you watch the ending, and then it starts playing again. You're like, "Oh my god, this game, this song!" It's that or "Simple and Clean."
We talked about that just the other week, didn't we? The tower climbing or the climbing scene. I think we did.
We talked about boss because somebody asked us what our favorite boss battles were, and that's one of my all-time favorite boss battles.
The boss?
Yeah.
There are few boss battles that come that close to that level of epicness. Yeah.
Let's talk puppies. What's your favorite breed?
So, favorite breed? A puppy?
Of dog, yeah.
Does a cat count as a type of dog breed?
No, because cats suck.
Cats are sweet. If I had to choose just one type of puppy, it'd probably be like I don't want to say husky because I feel like everybody's all super hype on husky these days.
For me, it's either a Shiba Inu or a Border Collie.
Border Collies are pretty fantastic.
They are.
I do love German Shepherd puppies. I love their floppy ears. They're so floppy, so big.
John's is a Golden Retriever. See, everybody likes Big Dog. Nobody's like Chihuahua.
Yeah.
We're not 12-year-old girls.
I don't know. I mean, Mexicans are big fans of small dogs. Don't ask me why. I don't even understand it myself.
Because they fit in a burrito.
But if you had a bigger dog, you could make more burritos. Anyway, yeah, I don't know. I like small dogs. I like certain small dogs in small doses. I would not want to own one.
All right, now we're gonna get dark. What's your saddest memory?
My saddest memory? Wow,
Yeah, we're getting deep.
Wow. Okay.
I'll share mine because mine is something I've talked about on this podcast. The saddest memory that I have is the day I got the call that my dad was dying. It's the saddest day that I can remember in a really long time. That was like 2 years ago. My dad had been an alcoholic for a while. He was on some blood pressure medications that acted up with some medication he was on for his ulcer, and it caused him to go into kidney failure. And my dad was in a coma for 2 weeks, and it sucked. And my dad was always Superman and always running around being awesome, and to get a call while I'm sitting at work from a nurse at a hospital that says, if you want to see him and say your goodbyes, I'd get up here now. That's the saddest day of my life. I drove 250 miles north from where I am right now in an hour and 15 minutes. And by myself, crying my eyes out most of the way. Yeah, it was bad. Sad moment. My saddest memory.
That sounds pretty rough.
It was rough.
If I had to say saddest memory, I might have to say, for guys who have not listened to this podcast for 3 years, there was a point when after college where I lived in Seattle for about a year, and that didn't work out, and I had to take a 32-hour train ride back to Santa Barbara from Seattle, and I ended up with, I was sleeping on the couch and had like $200 to my name. That was probably the saddest moment that I can remember. Having to go back to your shitty hometown is not great with no money and a friend's couch to sleep on. It's not an ideal situation. It's pretty low, but yeah, it was a few years ago. Move on.
All right, let's bring it back up. Tell us a good deed that you or someone else has done for you to restore your faith in humanity.
I have no faith in humanity. No, it's not true. To restore my faith in humanity?
Yeah. So something you did or somebody else did for you?
You got anything?
Yeah. I think Statute of Limitations is up on this. I can talk about this. I used to work.
Okay.
I used to be the layaway manager for Walmart back when I was 18. So, almost 11 years. A few years ago.
Okay. All right.
I was 18 or 19. And this kid I used to ride the bus with came in with his mom, and he was a special education kid. And it was around Christmas time, and he really wanted like this Star Wars toy thing. He was probably a little bit older than me, but special needs kid, and they like toys and shit. But he had a little sister, and his mom was buying presents for her, and was picking up her layaway, and she didn't have money for like 3 of these toys for him. And he was going to buy them himself, but she didn't have enough money for the toys that she was picking up for her daughter originally, so he gave his money up for the little girl. And I stole from Walmart so hard that day. I pulled so much shit and just threw it in a bag and handed it to him and told him to go. Said, don't worry about it. Go. Have a good day. And the layaway was set up right by the door where if they got stopped or anything, I'd be like, no, I just rang them up. They're good. Go. And just to see somebody give up something, and like the kid had tears in his eyes and he was getting upset because he knew he wasn't going to be able to have anything for Christmas now. And I've got a soft heart, so I'm like, no, fuck that. You're getting this fucking Millennium Falcon, this Death Star, and this shit. Fuck it. Here, go. Before I start crying, go.
Through tears.
Just go. Yeah, and that restored, like, him giving up something that he really wanted, and, me giving, being a dick to Walmart and sticking it to the man.
That's fair. If you
nothing
if you
recently.
Have to choose between something and being a dick to Walmart, always choose being a dick to Walmart, kids.
The Game of Death podcast does not advocate stealing.
We don't advocate stealing, but, be a dick to Walmart.
What about you? Anything?
Something that made me restored my faith in humanity? I don't know. I don't know if anything. I'm trying to think of something particularly special that happened to me that was a good deed someone did to me. Not that people don't do good things for me, particularly like that. I mean, having a friend let me crash on his couch when I had zero money was pretty fantastic, honestly.
That's
especially
fantastic.
when I felt like I was garbage and everything was terrible.
Yeah,
that helped a lot.
All right, we're gonna do 2 more before we get out of here, guys. Which game would you give to the other person to try that because you love it, and they haven't played it? Clearly.
To which other person? To me to Chris and Chris to me?
Yes.
Is that what it means?
Yes, from Chris to Caleb and Caleb to Chris. This was a hard question until recently, for me.
Is it Evil Within?
It is the Evil Within 2.
Oh
Motherfucker.
You know what? I think I have an answer too. I would give you Resident Evil 6 so we can play it co-op. Even though it's probably not going to be a great experience, at least we'll have say we beat it. What are you doing? Are you sending me Evil Within 2? Stop it.
No. I'm typing to John.
Okay,
He
good.
said that he'd want to give us BlazBlue or Persona 3 EFS, and I was responding that I've played all the Persona games after Persona 4. I went back and played them all.
I remember being a big fan of the first BlazBlue, and I just never ended up playing any of the other ones because they're such a niche fighting game. I mean, they're great. Don't get me wrong. I just never got into them. I would be super happy if Jonathan or someone gave me BlazBlue, any of them.
Do you know why?
Honestly.
And I would not be, because BlazBlue is a fighting game, and Chris
Yes,
doesn't like fighting games.
BlazBlue is one of the few fighting games I felt like I could work with, and I felt pretty. I remember legitimately going online and kicking the shit out of some people, and being like, "Yeah, I could do this." But that's like the only fighting game I've ever felt that way about, except for maybe like Persona 4 Arena. But anyway,
Dead or Alive 4 was the top of my fighting game. Like, that's a game.
Dead or Alive 4 particularly.
Yeah. It's the only Dead or Alive game I've ever played. And I was nasty at that game. Like, nasty where I won tournaments, like local tournaments at that game.
Ooh,
Yeah.
that's fun.
And that's when I was like, I'm going to do this for real, and I'm going to play all the fighting games, and I'm just going to become a fighting game player. And then I think the next game that came out was another Street Fighter game, and I played Street Fighter, and I was like, never mind.
Street Fighter does not cater to newbies. I tried to get good at Street Fighter 4 at one point because I really liked it, but it's not. I don't know. Not my thing.
All right, last question for the night. If you guys, including Dawn and Hollow, since they'll always be part of the cast, were to be an RPG party, what classes would each of you be, and why?
What would we be and why?
Yes.
Hollow would probably be a samurai.
Yeah, samurai or berserker. I shared this question with Caleb because I really liked this question. So we talked about this a little bit.
Depends on what rule set we're playing with, but yeah, samurai or berserker.
Yeah. Because he can be that lovable guy, but once he gets going on something, he goes. And it's hard to get him down.
He does. He would destroy some people.
Yeah. I said that personally, I always thought that I was a bard. Caleb thought I would be a paladin.
I can see it.
Why a paladin, though?
I don't know. She's very righteous. You seem like you would want to kill things, but you'd be a good person about it. So you'd have a big holy sword that you would destroy people with, but you'd do it for good.
Interesting. No,
I can't just call you a barbarian.
What?
You wouldn't just be a barbarian. That's way too unintelligent for you. It'd have to be something.
See, that's why I said that. See, personally, I always saw myself as a bard because, like, I do the podcast and I talk, and I'm very charismatic, and I'm able to talk my way out of a lot of things. I'm also intelligent. I know a little bit about everything, and can hold an intelligent conversation. Whereas I always saw Caleb as a wizard, which is one of the reasons that we call him the Mexican word wizard.
I guess I could see that. I could see pulling some not shady, but some mischievous wizard shit.
Dawn. What is Dawn?
What is Dawn? Dawn would be a necromancer.
Dawn would be a necromancer because she shits bats.
She does. She does. Not quite literally, but she does.
Yeah, I really like that question, so thank you guys for sending it in. We're going to wrap up the podcast now. If you guys want to be part of the cast, you can send us an email to podcast@gamingdeath.com. You can like us on Facebook. Follow us on Twitter, but don't do that. Check us out on YouTube. And if you guys like this podcast, make sure you guys head over to geekyantics.net to listen to Horseplay Live, which is run by the Podfather himself, Mr. Yogizilla. But I think that's going to do it for tonight. I'm Chris.
I'm not Kyle.
Oh, make sure you guys follow Racing John at Racing John. John Jon.
That's pretty cool. You
Yeah,
can
he's
follow
awesome.
him.
You should definitely follow him. But have a good night, guys.
My guys.
Hey, chat. Have a good night.
My guys.